I should have known something was wrong when Lisa, my mother-in-law, started showing up to family dinners wearing 3 different designer bags each week. Darling, when you marry into the Harrison family, appearances are everything, she'd remind me constantly, adjusting her supposedly Cartier bracelet that left a greenish mark on her wrist. My husband, Mark, and I had been planning our annual family lake trip for months. We'd reserved the perfect lakeside cabin in Maine, 4 bedrooms, a wraparound porch, and enough space for all 3 families. Our kids, Emma, 8, and Tyler, 6, had been counting down the days, eager to go fishing with their cousins. The kids are so excited about the cabin. I mentioned during Sunday dinner, watching Emma demonstrate her perfected casting technique with an imaginary fishing rod. Sarah's girls are bringing their new kayak too. The crystal wine glass froze halfway to Lisa's perfectly lined lips. Next to her, my sister-in-law, Amanda's face contorted like she'd bitten into a lemon. A cabin. Lisa's voice could have frozen the summer air. Darling, the Harrisons don't do cabins. She said the word like it was contaminated. We have standards to maintain. Mark shifted uncomfortably beside me. Mom, we thought it would be fun for the kids. They've been looking forward to. Looking forward to what? Amanda cut in, her diamond tennis bracelet catching alight as she gestured dramatically. Sleeping in the wilderness like peasants, using outdoor bathrooms. What will people think? It's a luxury cabin, I explained, trying to keep my voice level. Full amenities. Private dock, even a hot tub. Oh honey, Lisa interrupted, reaching across to pat my hand condescendingly. I know you didn't grow up with our advantages, but now that you're part of this family, you need to understand our position. We have a reputation to maintain. The patronizing tone made my cheeks burn. I'd grown up solidly middle class. But Lisa never let me forget I wasn't born into their supposed aristocracy. Actually, Amanda straightened, her smile turning razor sharp. This is perfect timing. James and I were just about to announce something exciting. She paused for dramatic effect. We've invested in an exclusive timeshare network. Ultra-luxury properties across Europe. We're planning a family trip to their chateau in the French Riviera instead. Lisa clapped her manicured hands together. Now that's more like it. Crystal chandeliers, private chefs, helicopter tours. But we've already put down the deposit, Mark protested. The kids have been saving their allowance for fishing gear. Don't be ridiculous, darling, Lisa waved her hand dismissively. We'll cover everything. The Harrison name opens all sorts of doors. Amanda's timeshare connection gives us access to the most exclusive properties. I watched Emma's face fall as she realized her beloved cabin trip was evaporating. Tyler had stopped eating, his lower lip trembling. We're not canceling, I said firmly. The kids have been planning this for months. Lisa's perfectly Botoxed forehead attempted to wrinkle. Diana, darling, you're being difficult. Think about what's best for the children. Do you really want them growing up thinking camping is acceptable? That manual labor like fishing is appropriate for their social class. What exactly is wrong with our social class? I challenged, feeling Mark tense beside me. Nothing, Lisa backpedaled smoothly. You've done, adequately, rising to our level. But now it's time to embrace proper luxury. Amanda's timeshare properties are simply magnificent. Tell them about the yacht options, dear. Amanda launched into a detailed description of Mediterranean cruises and private islands, each word dripping with manufactured exclusivity. I noticed she carefully avoided mentioning actual costs or booking details. We've already arranged everything, Lisa announced. We'll all fly out next month, first class, of course. The chateau has an entire wing reserved for us. Much more suitable than some wooden shack. Mom, Mark finally spoke up. We're going to stick with our original plans. The cabin trip is happening. The temperature in the room dropped 20 degrees. Lisa set down her wine glass with a sharp clink. I see. Her voice could have cut glass. Well, if you insist on embarrassing the family, don't expect us to participate. Amanda, James, will have to make other arrangements. Perhaps that private villa in Santorini you mentioned. Of course, Mother, Amanda smiled sweetly. We'll have the helicopter pad ready for your arrival. I watched my children's faces crumple as they realized their cousins wouldn't be joining our trip. The family vacation they dreamed about was being replaced by some fabricated luxury fantasy. That night, as we drove home, Emma's quiet voice broke the silence. Mom, are we really too poor for Grandma to vacation with us? My heart shattered. Mark gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. No, sweetheart, I answered carefully. We're incredibly fortunate. We can afford a beautiful cabin by the lake, fishing gear, and making wonderful memories together. That's true wealth. But Aunt Amanda says, your Aunt Amanda, Mark cut in, his voice unusually sharp, doesn't know everything. Sometimes people who talk the most about being rich are actually the poorest in what matters. I squeezed his hand, proud of him for finally standing up to his family. But something about Amanda's timeshare scheme nagged at me. The way she'd avoided specifics, the too perfect promises. That night, after the kids were asleep, I started researching her supposedly exclusive timeshare network. What I discovered made my blood run cold. The website looked legitimate at first glance. Photos of stunning properties, glowing testimonials, promises of luxury beyond imagination. But something felt off. I dug deeper, following digital breadcrumbs until I found what I was looking for. There, on an FBI warning page, was a familiar company name. Amanda's exclusive timeshare network was listed as a suspected international scam operation. The properties didn't exist. The photos were stolen from real estate listings. And the victims, wealthy families desperate to maintain their illusion of status. I stared at the screen, pieces clicking into place. The sudden designer bags, the vague property descriptions, the pressure to cancel our real vacation for their fictional one. My phone buzzed, a group text from Lisa. Booking details coming soon. First installment payment due next week. So excited for our proper family vacation. I looked at the FBI warning again, then at the framed photo of our kids by the lake last summer. The choice was clear. The next week's family dinner felt like walking into a theater production where everyone was badly overacting. Amanda had traded her usual designer wear for what looked like an entire boutique's worth of luxury brands, price tags barely hidden. The chateau's chef is simply divine, she gushed, waving her fork with dramatic flair. He trained under Gordon Ramsay himself. And the wine cellar, vintages dating back to the 1800s. I watched her performance while pushing my food around my plate, the FBI warning page burning in my mind. Mark and I had spent hours discussing how to handle this. His sister wasn't just running a scam, she was dragging our entire family into it. About the payment, Lisa chimed in, her voice honey-sweet. We'll need everyone's first installment by Friday. Only $50,000 per family. Such a bargain for 2 weeks of pure luxury. I nearly choked on my water. 50,000. Oh, darling, Lisa laughed airily. That's nothing compared to what people usually pay for properties of this caliber. Amanda's connections are giving us such a wonderful discount. Mark cleared his throat. Actually, Mom, we've been looking into these properties. Perfect, Amanda interrupted, pulling out a stack of glossy brochures. I brought some photos of the chateau's east wing. That's where we'll be staying. The children's suite has its own carousel. I studied the photos carefully. They looked familiar, and now I knew why. I'd found the exact same images on a luxury real estate website based in Monaco. They were from a property that had sold 3 years ago. That's fascinating, I said, keeping my voice neutral. The chateau looks identical to Villa Le Rêve. You know, the one that banking executive bought in 2022. The color drained from Amanda's face. Well, this is a different property. Very similar architecture, of course. These French designers, they all copy each other. Really? I pulled out my phone. Because I'm looking at the Villa Le Rêve listing right now. Same fountain. Same marble staircase. Even the same flowers in the garden. The room went silent. James, Amanda's husband, suddenly became very interested in his napkin. Diana, Lisa's voice had an edge of warning. I don't appreciate what you're implying. Amanda has worked very hard to arrange this wonderful family opportunity. Oh, I'm sure she has, I agreed, just like she worked hard on the Miami Beach house scam last year, or was it the ski lodge scheme the year before? Amanda's wine glass clattered against her plate. I don't know what you're talking about. The FBI does. The words fell like bombs in a silent dining room. They have quite a file on your exclusive timeshare network. Apparently, you're not the only one using stolen photos to scam wealthy families. How dare you? Lisa stood up, her chair scraping against the floor. Amanda would never. It's all fake, Mom, Mark cut in firmly. The properties don't exist. The investment scheme is a scam. Diana found the FBI warning. James suddenly stood up. I need some air. He practically ran from the room, leaving Amanda staring after him in panic. James? James, wait. She rushed after him, her expensive heel catching on the carpet. As she stumbled, her purse spilled open, dozens of fake credit cards scattering across the floor like damning confetti. Lisa stared at the cards, each showing different names and banks. Her perfectly maintained facade cracked. Amanda? Her voice sounded small, confused. What is this? But Amanda was already gone, chasing after James. Through the window, we could hear their cars screeching out of the driveway. I don't understand. Lisa sank back into her chair. The chateau, the private chef, the carousel. None of it was real, Mom, Mark said gently. They've been running this scam for years, taking huge deposits for fake luxury properties, then disappearing when it's time to actually travel. But what about all their vacations, the photos, the designer clothes? Stolen photos from real estate listings, I explained. And I'm guessing those designer bags are as fake as the credit cards on your floor. Lisa's hand trembled as she reached for her wine glass. All those people at the country club. I've been bragging about the chateau. I told everyone to invest. That's how these schemes work, Mark said. They target wealthy social circles, use people's pride and connections against them. Oh God. Lisa's face crumpled. The Andersons already sent their deposit, and the Blackwells. And oh God, what have I done? I felt a surprising wave of sympathy for my mother-in-law. For all her pretension and snobbery, she'd been another victim of Amanda's manipulation. It's not too late, I said quietly. The FBI is building a case. If everyone comes forward now, reports the fraud. Report it. Lisa looked horrified. But the scandal, our reputation. Mom, Mark's voice was firm. What matters more, your reputation or doing the right thing? Lisa stared at the scattered fake credit cards, her carefully constructed world of status and luxury crumbling around her. The cabin, she whispered suddenly. Your lake house vacation. Is that offer still open? I shared a look with Mark. The deposit's paid. There's plenty of room. But it's so simple. She said it like she was testing the word. No private chef. No helicopter pad. No, I agreed. Just family, real memories, kids learning to fish, sunset boat rides, home-cooked meals on the porch. Lisa picked up one of the fake credit cards, running her finger over its fraudulent promise of status. I've spent so long trying to prove we're better than common people, she admitted, looking down on simple pleasures. And now? Her voice trailed off as police sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Now, I said gently, you have a choice to make. 2 months later, I sat on the cabin's wraparound porch watching the sunset paint the lake in shades of gold and pink. The sound of children's laughter drifted up from the dock, where Emma and Tyler were teaching their grandmother how to bait a fishing hook. No, Grandma, you have to push it through like this. Emma demonstrated with the patience of a seasoned pro. See, now the fish can't steal it. Oh, Lisa's delighted laugh carried across the water. I did it. My first proper fish hook. I smiled, remembering how different things had looked 8 weeks ago. The night of the exposed scam had ended in chaos. Police cars in the driveway, FBI agents taking statements, and Lisa breaking down completely as she realized the extent of Amanda's deception. They found them in Mexico, Mark said, settling into the rocking chair beside me with 2 steaming mugs of coffee. Amanda and James, trying to run the same scheme at some resort. I accepted my coffee, breathing in the rich aroma mixed with pine-scented air. How many families did they scam in total? 23. He shook his head. Almost $2 million in deposits. Mom's testimony helped the FBI build their case. That had been Lisa's turning point. After hours of crying about ruined reputations and social shame, she'd straightened her spine and done the right thing. She called everyone she'd recruited into the scheme, admitted the truth, and helped them file reports. Her country club status had taken a hit, but her conscience was clear. Look, look! Tyler's excited shout drew our attention back to the dock. Grandma caught one. Lisa was standing proudly, holding up a small bass while the kids cheered. Her designer clothes had been replaced by jeans and a flannel shirt, both purchased from Target, which would have been unthinkable 2 months ago. The green stain from her fake Cartier bracelet had finally faded. I never thought I'd see her like this, Mark mused, watching his mother high-five our children. Remember how she used to be about common activities? I thought back to all her cutting remarks over the years about our middle-class choices, the sneers at public schools, the mockery of home-cooked meals, the constant pressure to maintain appearances. Did I tell you what she said to me yesterday? I asked, sipping my coffee. She apologized. Really apologized, not just her usual sorry you were offended routine. Mark raised his eyebrows. Seriously? She said she spent so many years trying to buy class that she forgot what really matters. Said watching Amanda get arrested made her realize she'd been measuring wealth all wrong. Down at the dock, Lisa was attempting to unhook her fish while the kids offered enthusiastic advice. She'd insisted on learning everything herself. No hired help, no shortcuts. I want to earn this, she'd said on the first day, determinedly practicing her cast in the backyard. The screen door creaked and Sarah, Mark's cousin, emerged with a platter of sandwiches. Dinner's ready. Fresh caught and fresh made. You cooked? Lisa called up, clearly impressed. I thought you always had your meals catered. Turns out cooking's not just for common people after all, Sarah laughed. Who knew YouTube cooking channels could be better than a private chef? We gathered around the enormous picnic table on the porch, passing plates and sharing stories as the sun dipped lower. Lisa sat between her grandchildren, her face glowing with genuine joy as they debated the proper technique for making s'mores. You know, she said during a lull in conversation, I got another call from the Ritz today. They wanted to know if I'd be hosting my annual charity gala in their ballroom this year. What did you tell them? Mark asked carefully. Lisa smiled, helping Tyler perfect his marshmallow roasting technique. I said no, suggested they donate the space to the youth fishing program instead, the one Emma told me about. I nearly dropped my plate in shock. Lisa Harrison, queen of social status, turning down her biggest society event of the year. Besides, she continued, rescuing Tyler's marshmallow before it caught fire. I thought we might make this cabin trip an annual tradition. If you'll have me. The vulnerability in her voice made my throat tight. We've loved that, Lisa. Although, she added with a mischievous glint in her eye, next time I'm bringing better coffee. Target is fine for clothes, but their coffee selection is simply barbaric. We all laughed, and I realized the sound was real. No forced politeness, no hidden judgments. Just family enjoying each other's company without pretense. Later that night, after the kids were asleep upstairs, I found Lisa standing on the dock. She was staring at the moon's reflection on the lake, looking more peaceful than I'd ever seen her. Thank you, she said quietly as I approached, for not giving up on me, for showing you what real luxury looks like. I followed her gaze across the water. Real luxury. This, she gestured to the cabin, the lake, the sleeping children above. No fake designer labels, no stolen photos. Just love. Family, things money can't buy. A loon called somewhere in the darkness, its haunting cry echoing across the water. In the cabin behind us, I could hear Mark and Sarah laughing over late-night board games. What the strangest part is? Lisa mused. I've never been happier. We stood in comfortable silence, watching the stars reflect on the lake's surface. No helicopters, no private chefs, no crystal chandeliers. Just the real treasures. Family, forgiveness, and a perfectly baited fish hook